And welcome back, folks, to Let's Play Mobile Suit Gundam Zeonic Front. When we last left off, we cleared Mission 3, so we're going to just go ahead straight into Mission 4 here. I'll go through the mission briefing. Try and be a little quiet for this.
Midnight Fenrir. Our latest mission is to search for and locate the Trojan horse, as well as the mobile suits aboard the ship. The information we've received indicates they're hiding at the S3 point. In support of Captain Garma's operation, we will commence our search of the assigned area. I must emphasize that our mission is restricted to tracking down the Trojan horse or enemy mobile suits and informing the commander of their location. Leave the strike to Captain Garma's squadron.
Okay, so as you heard, we're on the hunt for the Trojan horse, and this is basically around the New York sequence for the North American campaign towards Mobile Suit Gundam itself, because we've had mention of Garma. He's now looking for the Trojan horse, so we kind of know where we're at here. So in terms of team setup, there's a couple of things that have changed over here, and then I'm going to switch something real quick, and we'll be right back just in one moment. Okay, so what I went through, and I switched around a couple of the control schemes just to try and get a better show of that, and it took me a minute, and I had to test it to make sure it was working correctly. Anyways, so let's go through a little bit about this mission sequence here. For it, we've already gone through our mission details, basically, and I'm just going to see about the route. Now, the route you'll notice here is something that I've switched up. The normal route doesn't look as technical as this for it. The blue route on the left side there, hopefully it's showing up okay for YouTube. But blue team's route is more or less the same, but I've tweaked it just a tad bit. Green team and red team, however, where this mission really starts to deviate from what the default route is. Green's route usually only ended up, maybe half of what the length of that route is, and red team just stopped on the lower right corner of the map for some strange reason. This mission really is kind of difficult in one way only, and that I'll get to it here as we get into the mission itself. And that's not difficult to complete the mission, it's difficult to complete the mission with a high ranking for us. If you're going for those S ranks off the bat for round one, very difficult to do. Let's take a look at our team setup, just a little basic. So not a whole lot has changed for it. Now, Austin here has gotten himself an upgraded Zaku 1, which is always nice. He prefers the Zaku 1s, and he's also got himself, and I'm going to show it off, a shotgun to use here. So we can switch over to the shotgun if we so desired, but I do like the bazooka with him for the most part. So we're going to keep that. I have Armor A, Night Scope, and Magazine. For this mission is at night, so make sure any units that you have that can equip a Night Scope, use it. It makes things so much easier. Matter of fact, it's almost like cheating sometimes. The only problem I have with Austin's units is that it takes so long to get a shield for him, which means his units are susceptible to just getting absolutely clusterfucked real quick. We've got Hepner in here with us, which is nice. She's got a shield and a standard Zaku 2F. Her supports aren't as good, I suppose, for just augmenting your mobile suit's abilities for her. She's more along the lines of fucking with the enemy, using disruptive weapon or disruptive support items that will take out their sensors, confuse them, smoke screens, that type of thing. And of course, we're going to go here with Rower, and he's got a thermal boost and a night scope on. Otherwise, we really haven't switched over a lot. I don't really use Roberto a lot for the beginning sets of these missions for it, so we'll take a look at him much later on down the line. Luckily, we don't have to worry about over-leveling one team versus the other. Now, I've already kind of just shown you off route setup for it, so I'm not going to really go into that. And I didn't want to show programming that route into the video itself, just because it took me a little while to get it all said and done, because the system's not that user-friendly. It tends to take a little time to get used to. So, information, we've got that. I'm going to skip for it. But somebody asked me to make sure I did go into advice, so we'll go through this again.
It's a night search, so use your thermal sensors and night vision.
Well, that was rather abrupt. All right.
Come nightfall, visibility will be diminished drastically. Well, I guess it'll be a good opportunity for our tenderfoots to gain some experience in nighttime operations. It's only a search mission after all.
I heard the Trojan horse and its mobile suit survived attacks from our forces several times already. They say that even Commander Shar failed to take out the White One. I can't wait to face them.
Don't get too excited or you're gonna give yourself a heart attack. Our mission is to find the Trojan horse and mobile suits. There ain't gonna be any combat for us. How many times do I gotta tell ya?
Yeah, old man, I know. I'm not a hero. I'm just a kid.
Watch your mouth, punk. Ignore orders and you'll jeopardize the lives of everyone in your unit, including myself. All because you've got an itchy trigger finger.
You don't have to be so hard on me.
Calm yourself, Nikki. It's just that Matt has seen too many soldiers like you lose their lives. Neither Matt nor I want to lose a comrade. Guys like you with little experience think they're invincible. Just be careful, okay? Why don't you leave it at that, Matt?
You know, I kind of agree with Austin there. A lot of the rookies throughout the entire one-year war went up against the white base crew and just got absolutely slaughtered because they were idiots and thought they were invincible.
According to our database, this enemy mobile suit has stronger armor, better mobility, and even more firepower than our Zaku. I also hear that our Zaku's machine guns have no effect. Seems to me we should avoid engaging it face to face if we find it.
You're right. So far, there are no weapons proven to be effective against it. Remember, we're not to attack the enemy this time.
Which is true. The Gundam itself was the first, unless you count retcon units, the Gundam was really the first mobile suit to equip a battleship-class beam weapon, not to mention its composite armor that it can make use of, which is something nice to see in the Origin manga, because they talk a lot about the specs for the Gundam and show that while it is a fantastic unit, it is nowhere near the overpowered monster that it appears to be in the series itself.
The thermal sensors will detect any heat source. It's effective against a mechanized enemy. The night vision should also improve visibility in darkness.
Man, the guys in your unit are a bunch of slave drivers. The best I can do is keep the mobile suits in working order before they move out. Also, they don't resupply us with enough spare parts. I sometimes doubt whether we can win this war.
You know, they reuse a lot of voice actors for this. It's surprising that they don't overlap as much or more than they do. Now, there's one thing that I want to make sure, and I did this on a test recording once, as I forgot to turn sensors on for somebody, and here it is. Hepner, I forgot to turn her sensors on. Now, what this means is, this is the sensor loadout that they will start with when the mission begins. So, where it's off, she'll have no sensors start off. You can turn them on manually and switch between them manually, but it's always nice to just not have to do this. Thermal is a very, very good thing for this mission just because it is a nighttime mission. So we'll take thermal and then change him from sonar to thermal as well. And then that'll work out just well. So, for the most part, let's go ahead into this mission. Yes, I wish to launch. Now, some things to talk about for this mission is that the game itself has a certain amount of RNG, where there's just random throws of the dice and you're just going to get fucked over, even with your perfect mission planning. So don't feel too bad if you get fucked over.
All units, move out.
Roger.
Don't forget, you'll have limited visibility. Make use of your thermal sensors.
Our mission is to find the Trojan horse and report its position. Don't forget that.
Okay, so for the most part, this is going to be switched over into fully or semi-autonomous mode. So let's go ahead and make sure that's on. Semi-auto. And I'm going to let them pretty well take over their own selves. Now, the only problem I have with this route makeup here is that red team and blue team cross at one junction here, and they tend to be a little stupid when they try to maneuver between units. I'm not sure why they do that, and I could probably tell them to halt, but I really don't care at this point. They actually have somewhat of the easier route for it. Blue team is where a lot of the random things start to come about, and I've lost blue team completely sometimes, and sometimes they have gone through without a scratch. It's just all luck of the draw for this. And I'm actually surprised because green team usually runs into enemies at this point.
I found
there
the
they are.
enemy, but it's only a small fry.
Confirmed. Commander, what are your instructions?
They're probably patrol troops. They'll get in the way of our mission. You have permission to attack. Wipe them out, quickly. Roger.
Alright, so it looks like we got a bunch of choppers over here. Now, thankfully, they don't see us too well. They're too busy paying attention to red team, which allows us to get a nice little side attack on them. Alright, green team should just kind of haul ass to the city here. Hopefully they'll miss a lot of the enemies for it. Oh, that's a nice hit. Those tanks usually aren't there. Sometimes they appear off to the side, or you may not even run into them to begin with. Matter of fact, blue team has not ran into many enemies yet. They are hauling ass. Alright, we'll leave green team by himself. Move over to blue. Yeah, blue's going to switch over to walking mode here. Now, there are several sets of targets here that you have to complete to the mission, but don't feel too bad if you don't complete them. This mission is actually a little unique in the fact that it's all based upon a timer. Once certain little cutscenes begin to play, the mission is almost done. You could literally, as far as I know, stand still, halt all your units, and just wait for the timer to count down, which isn't displayed, and you will have won the game, or won the mission itself. And because of that fact, it makes it really difficult to actually S-rank this mission first round through. As a matter of fact, I'm surprised the cutscene hasn't happened yet. Wow, blue team's doing pretty good. Sometimes the AI gets stuck on some objects like street lamps and small little fences, things of that nature. Yep, here's our first scene.
Dharma, the mobile suit is running away. The Trojan horse should be right up ahead. Go after it. Hurry. Yes, Shar.
Captain Garma's squadron has located an enemy mobile suit. Looks like the Trojan horse is not in the vicinity. What are your instructions?
We will continue searching the area until further orders. You never know. There may still be enemy patrol troops.
Roger.
I can't tell you how many times I used to have nightmares about this mission because I could never get to freaking move correctly. Oh man, stuck behind a building. Not a good way to go. Alright, so we want to launch code for them. So green team is waiting for code to Delta to go, but they kind of got stuck and they have enemies. They're going to go after those units that are just appearing there. Now, the reason the enemy units are actually glowing almost, and they're so bright in this, is because I have night scopes equipped. Night scopes make these nighttime missions a breeze to go through. Come on, take them out. There we go. So happy that there's no friendly fire. Okay, so they should go over towards where red team's going right now, because there's one little unit in the upper right corner of the map that I want to take care of. Is it select? Yep. So now you can see kind of the basic route, and blue team is going to have some combat here. Let's make sure they're not doing something stupid. Yeah, they're about to say they should be going real slow like. Now, green team may screw up here. Depends on how well the enemy placement is. Yep, there's the enemy, and they're probably going to see green team. Yep. Not before green team gets the mission over.
Captain Garma's squadron has opened fire on the enemy.
What?
Wait a minute. There's some disruption in the communication lines.
What's going on?
There's enemy fire from behind, Captain.
From behind?
It's the Trojan horse. Coming up behind us, sir.
Ascend! Ascend now!
I can't!
Change course 180 degrees. I'll ram the gal right into them if I have to. Shar, you're not saying that.
You were a very good friend to me. Don't take it personally. Thank your father for this.
Shar! You double-crossed me, Shar!
This can't be. There's no response from Captain Garma.
All units, we're moving out from this area to confirm the situation regarding Captain Garma.
And that's it, folks. The mission is complete for Mission 4. Like I said, it's all based on the timer, which is good if you just want to kind of beat the mission to move on. It's bad if you want to try and get an S rank. An S rank is very difficult going through round 1 without much equipment for it. Now, there are 3 sets of targets in that. The middle ones, which green team took out, and the ones that red team and green team are about to pincer attack. Green team had actually started to actually attack them. There's one last little target set up that's way north, and that's where blue team's route would have ended. However, blue team has to take kind of a little weirder route pattern in order to get up there, or at least that's how I chose for them to do it. If you really want to try for that S rank first time through, you're probably going to have to run and gun manually using one of the teams. I recommend blue team. Green team and red team are pretty effective together, especially because they're close proximity. So you can use them to kind of piggyback off of one another and make sure that no enemy units back attack them or anything like that. Not to mention, it makes it a hell of a lot easier to take down those fucking helicopters, which can be the bane of a mobile suit. Other than that, yeah. Once you get to round 2, though, the time... When you get to round 2, which is after you beat the game, and you go back to this mission, the timer here, or the one that we don't see, but the cutscene timer, that doesn't exist, or it shouldn't, so I believe you can just go through this mission as normal, but there will be newer units and different units to actually fight against. So, not so many choppers, not so many anti-mobile suit tanks, that type of thing. So, just keep in mind for that. But if you just want to get through it, just sit there and wait for the timer to go off.
Glory to the Principality of Zeon!
This latest mission has given our unit valuable data on nighttime operations. However, upon reaching the vicinity where we lost communication with Captain Garma, we were faced with a devastating nightmare. We found the remains of the Gao attack carrier and other aircraft, along with those of casualties. Everything was burning. The scent of defeat choked the air. Captain Garma went down in glory in his battle against the Trojan Horse. This was a terrible loss to all officers and soldiers who fought under his command in the North American operation. Today, the Trojan Horse broke through our line of siege and escaped our territory.
I've been assigned to take over Vice Admiral Garma's duties to lead our troops in the North American territory. I know everyone feels that Lord Garma's untimely demise is a horrible setback. To bring honor to his great name, we cannot grieve forever, but must instead carry on our glorious leader's crusade against the Federation. Now, I want your unit to head to Odessa and provide backup for the troops in that area. You should keep in mind that the request comes from the leader himself of the Odessa region, Captain Mukuve. According to intelligence received by the captain, the enemy is gathering to attempt a large-scale offensive in Odessa. Significant transfer of troops have been observed in Asian territory, confirming this fact. Our forces are deploying troops to the Gobi Desert to counter the enemy's moves. And guess what? You're the lucky ones. We've chosen to send out your unit from our North American division. Unfortunately, the front line is spread out too thin, and we don't have the luxury of transporting you by Gao attack carrier. As a result of capturing this base, we were able to build Yukon-type submarines, and they'll be a suitable means of transport to your final destination. Prepare to move out immediately. Also, as of today, a new pilot is being transferred to your unit. Over.
Alright, so we got a new pilot and some new supplies delivered, and I do not remember what the hell they are. It's been a long time for this, so let's go ahead into the next mission.
Desert Fenrir. Our original plan was to arrive at our destination tomorrow, but circumstances have changed. Our allies are already fighting the Federation forces in the Gobi Desert. The enemy has surrounded our forces' number 3 supply base, and it appears we're the only ones close enough to deal with it. Our allies are in danger and need support. We cannot turn our backs on them. We will disembark and head to the supply base by way of land. Our objective is to provide backup for the defense troops and protect the base from the enemy until reinforcements arrive. First, maneuver to the rear of the enemy's offensive line and break through the least protected area so that we may link up with our allies. According to intelligence, the enemy has taken over a section of the power plant. We intend to secure the power plant and restore the base's functions. Focus on eliminating the enemy inside. Then leave the rest to the power plant crew. Once the station is restored, the base's functions should come back online. Once we break past the siege and restore the base's functions, destroy the enemy's command vehicle. This will break down their chain of command and hinder their supply lines. The enemy's in the desert and needs their supplies. So, if we stall them out there long enough as we protect the base, they'll lose morale and have no choice but to retreat. There have been no reports so far of enemy mobile suits in the area, but there's concern over some new Federation models that have been spotted on the outskirts. This particular mobile suit carries cannons on both shoulders. I've heard that the enemy has weakened a few areas in our defense line with the long-range support of this mobile suit. There's every reason to believe that the mobile suit in question may appear in this battle, so we'll have to move on this quickly before our rival gets the upper hand.
Okay, so after listening to the briefing there from Schmitzer, we can gather a couple of things about this mission. One is that we're going to be fighting mobile suits from the Federation side, and based upon the description of those mobile suits, that they carry 2 cannons on either shoulder, that could leave us down 1 or 2 mobile suits, either the gun cannon or the gun tank. Either one is something we don't want to fight. This is one of those missions where the game starts to really cheat if it's a round 1 mission. Round 2, you're a little bit better equipped to deal with the situation, but round 1 likes to just cheat like a motherfucker, and it gets even worse from here, folks. I'm sorry to say, but the mission after this one is a thing of nightmares for a lot of people in this game. Anyways, let's take a look at a bit of my route here. I've switched it up from the normal route. The normal route really has blue team stopping at the 4th little square point there. Green team kind of stops to the mid-right side, and then red team is the only one who will go all the way up for that route. So there are a couple of things. Actually, I will show just a little bit about this route setup here. Let's go ahead and get rid of the map. And no, I don't want to do that. How do I switch it? Ah, there we go. That's what I was trying to do. Anyway, so here's our blue team route. Normally, blue team would go up here to the power plant, which has a nice big guard symbol on it, and then they really just stay there. Which, that can work for it, the normal route, and you can accomplish this mission easy enough for it. But I want them to actually go ahead and go further up here and take out the Federation command vehicle, which is way over here, the target there. That's the only target on the map. Everything else is really pretty well optional. Blue team and red team, or green team and red team, are actually going to be linking up slightly behind that target, and we're going to try to get them all to go at once. However, green team and red team are going to have a hell of a time getting there. They have a slight obstacle in their way, and I'll show it to you guys when we actually get there. So that's the route itself. You can change these routes whatever you want to do. You don't have to copy anything I'm doing. Matter of fact, don't. Most of the time I make some really stupid choices for these routes, so don't take my my choices for route setup here as canon or the way to do things. There are much better ways to do things. Anyways, let's go to team setup. Just take a look-see over here. We also got our new pilot, which is Swaggart. Swaggart's okay. He's piloting a Zaku 1A. He's kind of along the same lines as Austin would be, except he starts off with a 105mm machine gun for the Zaku 1A. So that's something to keep in mind. I still don't want to use either one of these guys for the moment because this team is pretty well set how they are, so we'll just leave that. I haven't changed much off of that mission for it. You can even keep the nighttime night vision on. It doesn't really make too big of a difference. So let's go ahead and listen to some advice.
We're being asked to perform a miracle. But that's exactly what we need if we want to link up with our allies and hold out against the enemy. First, we should break through the weakest point of the enemy's offensive line and rendezvous with our defense troops. Once we're together, we should split up into 2 teams. While one team recaptures the power plant and restores the base's functions, the other team attacks the command vehicle. I know it'd be easier to fully restore the base's functions first, then move on to the command vehicle, but I can't imagine the enemy will wait around that long.
What a miserable assignment. But we'll have to buckle down and do it. We gotta defeat the enemy before they call on their reserve units. And definitely before they bring out the new mobile suit. I wouldn't count on reinforcements to save us. We could get our butts kicked before they reach us. We're pretty much on our own. Let's stand our ground. Nikki, this is a tough mission for a kid.
I'll be okay. I've survived all the times you chewed me out in the past, so this should be a piece of cake. Don't worry, all right? I'll be okay.
The enemy is focused solely on the base. They wouldn't expect an attack from behind, so I'm pretty sure we can cause some confusion and even break through their line. Or maybe not. I'm sorry, sir. I know I shouldn't be so negative. Our allies inside the supply base are counting on us for support. It'll be fine. I'm sure things will go well.
I'm Lee Swaggart. Nice to meet you all.
So, Lee, which unit did you come from?
Sir, the African battlefront, sir.
How are things over there?
Pretty awful.
I see.
Well, that was in informative conversation between Swaggart and Roar. Anyways, let's go ahead and start this mission. Again, pretty well going to go into semi-autonomous mode and let them take care of things. The only time I think I'll actually have to take control of them is if green team or red team happens to get stuck in the base, just glitching onto a building or a vehicle, all that type of thing. Blue team's actually going to see the most combat throughout the entire mission.
All units, proceed. Link up with the defense troops. Approach the enemy from behind and create mass chaos. Then break through their offensive line before they can reorganize.
Why panic over a few mobile suits? Order the leaders of the Southern District to re-establish their chain of command, and then concentrate their attack on the mobile suit team approaching from the rear.
I love it when we have officers on the enemy side that just don't think one single little mobile suit can take out anything, or a kid can do anything of that jazz. Let's show them how wrong they are.
Try and move quickly.
Okay, for the most part, we really don't need thermal. Sonar is probably going to be a little bit better for us here. Matter of fact, yeah, sonar is actually going to be a lot better. Come on, switch over. There we go. Oops, alright, back to blue team. Blue team's already in the base. Oh, the tricky little bastard. See, I didn't remember him being there. Sometimes the placement's really weird for these. Now, here we'll probably see a good example of the buildings just getting in the way for a lot of stuff. Also, keep in mind that if your team leader goes too far, he's going to have to wait at the next checkpoint for the other units to actually catch up with him. So here's our power plant even, that's not even being guarded by the enemy. Now for round 2, there's going to be a hell of a lot more enemy forces to go through than just this. And we even had some tanks here to help us out.
Alright, proceed with the second phase.
What are our guys doing?
Okay, this is probably where things are going to go a little south for us pretty quick here. So again, we don't really have anything in terms of mobile suits to fight up against or just normal troops. Sometimes you'll see random units just appear here or there, but for the most part we shouldn't be too bad.
What? We outnumber them to such a colossal degree. We'll stamp them out in no time. All units, attack.
That type of pride will get you killed, my friend. Now green team and red team are actually way ahead of me here. Blue team is lagging behind a little bit. They may have gotten a little confused in their routing. So here we're going to have both teams stop because I want to wait for something. Up here it is.
Enemy reinforcements spotted.
Son of a
It's their
bitch.
mobile suit team.
Mobile suit in question?
I've checked the data from intelligence. There's no mistaking it.
That's a problem. All teams, hurry and destroy the command vehicle. This is the unit that hit our main troops hard. We may not have a chance against them with our battle strength. We've got no choice but to break the enemy's chain of command and hope they give up fighting.
Lieutenant Agar here. Gun cannon team commencing attack. Leave it to us. Now that we're here, those Zeon stooges are in serious trouble. Here we go!
That's Lieutenant Agar there, and he's a young artillery officer with the Federation. He's kind of an okay kid. But we want to avoid fighting these gun tanks. They are a big old pain in the dick, and hopefully the two teams here don't start aggroing to them. I want to wait for them to move before I give them the chance to go past them. Let's see here just a little bit further. And meanwhile, we have to wait for blue team anyways so they don't get their asses handed to them. Now, I have tried in the past just to kill off this gun cannon team. It is nearly impossible to do with the current equipment setup that we have. Now, hopefully they won't aggro, please. Yes, looks like we got through. Okay, we definitely don't want them to actually hit us.
Power plant is up. Functions of the base facilities will be restored shortly.
Oh shit, I didn't want you guys to go, you dumbasses. Well, that may be blue team dead. Yeah, there goes blue team. I hit the wrong code for it, so blue team just went down. That's fine, whatever. We still have green team and red team to rely upon. Now, if you'll see here, Agar's team has actually gone ahead and moved down towards base defenses. And that's where they'll go. We want them to go down that way so that they're not trying to attack us. Come on, shoot already for the gun swivel. Speaking of which, there goes red team. Not the best of mission for me. There it goes.
Federation command vehicle destroyed. Enemies in a state of chaos.
All right, each team pay attention. Do not let this opportunity pass us by. Go after them, but don't stray too far.
Now, here's something that gets a little odd for this, is that we have the chance to actually go after these teams here, but they can be just a wee bit annoying to fight, so be very careful if you choose to actually take them on. Even though they're retreating, they still have quite a bit of armor on them, and we can't necessarily destroy them off the bat. So do this at your own risk. But if you want to go after the little mini vehicles, that's fine. You'll be able to do quite a bit of damage. Once the gun cannon team gets across the finish line, mission ends. We're
Enemy
done.
retreat confirmed. We won.
All right, that concludes the operation. Stand guard until reinforcements arrive.
That was definitely not the best of ways that mission can come across before. And when I planned that route the first time, it went through flawlessly. There was absolutely no problems whatsoever. Now, what did end up happening is that, well, I'll let this play first.
The enemy attempting to lay siege to our base has retreated upon losing their chain of command. We have proven the tactical significance of our unit. However, we only stopped a fraction of the enemy's massive forces. The severe battle between Zeon and the Federation forces had escalated further into the Gobi Desert, and our units were separated. Having lost contact with the main forces and cut off from supplies, the lost troops wandered the sand dunes helplessly. The desert has swallowed up our footprints, and with them the ominous reminder of our war.
I love how it plays with such triumphant music, and we just got our asses handed to us. So yeah, there's minus 3,000 points, and yet I still get a B rank for that. So actually, had I managed to go through special bonus, we actually may have cleared a couple of the straggler enemy units. I didn't see because red team was in the way with too much smoke. I wish it gave you like a unit tally of what you actually managed to take out, who you were fighting. Anyways, back to the mission result itself. Couple things that went wrong with my route. One, blue team was a little too far to the left from their action code B point, which means that they were so far out of cover that the enemy had a chance to aggro to them, and I guess that the AI decided to just go balls to the wall for it. Not to mention, I think it got confused when I used action code A to actually initiate to get green team and red team behind Agar's gun cannon unit. Now, I have tried before to do a pincer attack onto the gun cannon unit because with mobile suit combat, if you can actually get behind the enemy unit, mobile suit particularly, you'll do tremendous damage to it, and you can usually take things out quite a bit. This game actually has a little bit of a cheap side where it won't let you actually hit them in that sweet spot in the back where their armor is virtually nothing. So it just comes down to random placements for shots. The bazooka is probably not the best weapon for that because it tends to explode on whatever portion of the hitbox it manages to just even come remotely close to. So the arm, the front of the arm, the sides of the chest, that type of thing. Anything but where you want it to actually hit. So blue team's death could have definitely been avoided had I actually been microing them a little bit more instead of green team. But I was a little bit more worried about green team and red team aggroing Agar's unit off the bat. Now, that's not a bad thing necessarily. If you want them to take Agar's team on, they will at least survive long enough for you to be able to take out the land class battleship the Federation officers are employing in, and then thus end the mission technically. Now, while all the enemy forces after that point will begin to retreat, including Agar's unit, and the Schmitzer will tell you to go after them, be aware that if Agar's unit gets trapped or cornered for whatever reason, or they get stuck on a part of the canyon wall, they will turn and bear their guns down upon you with vicious lethality. So don't think you're safe for just a moment if they're running. And I've tried that before, where I thought I could just run them down and quickly get some extra score. So this mission, had I not fucked up so badly with the 2 team leader crashes, it would have been a much better mission, and we possibly could have gotten an S rank out of that. Because I think it's about 6,000, maybe 7,000 points for an S rank, and I lost 3,000 points initially. Just with the loss of the team leaders, along with a couple other mobile suits from the teams. So there are some of the problems with that right there. Okay, I guess we'll go ahead and go through this. Round 2 version of that is a much more difficult battle. You're going to be fighting a lot of mobile suits here and there.
Following the completion of our operation in the Gobi, we hurried to gather at Odessa. We took a break in transit, but we had no time to enjoy the magnificent sunrise in Odessa as we received a transmission from regional headquarters.
Here are your orders from Captain Makuve. Your team will monitor and gather data on the Trojan Horse now moving within Zeon-controlled airspace. We have completed our analysis and come up with a projected route of the Trojan Horse. As you know, the Captain hates to waste any of our forces unnecessarily. Our mining bases have been damaged by the Trojan Horse's campaign. Let's avoid further casualties now that the Federation forces are assembling their troops in the Odessa region. This concludes Captain Makuve's report. Try not to hurt yourselves. Over.
I don't know why, but his haircut annoys me. So, we got some new supplies, a new mobile suit, which is nice. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a guff for Rower, I think, and I'm hoping. Anyways, now we're on to my favorite mission in the entire game. The one where, and I love the comment that somebody made in an earlier video, the thing that can best describe this mission is armor row counting up to 9, the sound of a beam rifle, and then your corpses as they hit the ground. This mission is not looking pretty good, and I have not been looking forward to this at all. So when we come back for the next episode, we'll go through mission 6, and I'll show you just how much of a pain in the ass it is. So until then, folks, see you later.